here he is. I know that we DJs always claim to have a fantastic time at our gigs, and I think this is mainly because we're eager to get more bookings, but I did in truth have a really good night in Lancaster during the weekend. In fact, all in all, it was a very good weekend, especially with King Kenny establishing a by and large unmatchable goal record. Only slight disappointment was yesterday's drawn match at Upton Park. Oh, how we laughed. This is from the Lucy Show on Shout Records, Leonardo da Vinci. Kid was talking a lot on his programme about a magazine called Blitz, and I was just having a look at a copy of it, and there's a really good likeness of him in there. You ought to try and get hold of a copy yourselves. That was the Lucy Show, and a single...
What was that? What?
And a single on Shout Records, appropriately enough, called Leonardo da Vinci, one that he's not been playing, and I expect he hasn't been playing this either. Test Department. Well, the most impressive record, that, I think, from Test Department. Incidentally, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the programme that our sessions tonight come from the Twinsets and Dead Can Dance, and the latter being heard for the first time on these programmes. Late Night Radio 1, whatever it is we're called these days. Radio 1 Late Night Show, sorry. That was Test Department from Some Bizarre Records and Compulsion, and I've got some information about a gig. They probably don't even call them gigs that they're doing on Wednesday. It says, from Test Department, info about the Arch on Wednesday. A November reprisal, Wednesday the 30th of November at 8 p.m. Advance tickets only from Rough Trade, Brixton Ritzy, Rock On Records in Camden, The Cage in the Great Gear Market, wherever that is, and Production Hair in Kensington Market. And they've been working on the show for the last 3 months, so it should be fairly spectacular when they get around to it. That's this Wednesday. But the actual location, of course, is being kept a secret, so you have to get your advance tickets now, or as soon as you can. I mean, not now, I suppose, but tomorrow. Now, this is from Aswad, and if you were listening to the Lairds programme last week, one of them, I forget which one it was, but he had a session from Aswad, and it sounded really good. And I think he played something from this LP as well, which was recorded live at the Notting Hill Gate Carnival this year. And I was listening to it over the weekend, always a few days behind him, as you realise. And there's some really good stuff on there, and I'm going to play you a bit of it now. This is called Drum and Bass Line.
All right. How about a different style? Anyhow. Anywhere. Any style and pattern. Bring it down in a rubber dub style. All right. All right. Ready, ready. 1, 2, 3. People are wanting is a little morning. That's what they all are shouting for. Seems they just can't refuse it. Just got to bounce and I use it. Seems they were born with rhythm within. Oh, you hear me say, couldn't give up now. Won't you hear me say? Drum line.
Oh, it's wonderful, that. And tomorrow night, if I remember, I shall play African Children, which is... This is the beginning of it, actually, but it's... It actually ends the side and, as it were, restarts on the other side. And I think that's the one the kid played last week. Also, there's a Rockers medley, which I'll try to remember to play later in the week as well. That's Asbod from what's described as a mini LP, although in duration and in size, it seems like an LP to me. Perhaps this is something to do with the pricing of it. And that track was Drum and Bass Line, not Mime, as Brian's written here. Dead Can Dance, and this is the first from them, and no vocals on this one, so it doesn't even have a title, so just call it Untitled Instrumental. An enigmatic start from Dead Can Dance, but we'll hear more from them later in the programme, of course. That was Untitled, and as you probably spotted, an instrumental. And as I mentioned earlier on, the John Peel Roadshow was in Lancaster last weekend, and in fact it's the same venue that I went to earlier in the year. I can't remember ever having been booked into the same place twice in 1 year, twice in the same decade possibly, but not in the same year. And the first time I went, it was all right, but not a great deal of fun. That was on a Friday night, and this time it was a Saturday night. and it was wonderful. I enjoyed myself hugely. Came away with not very many requests, the rest of you will be pleased to learn, but I shall try and get them all into this programme. One or two I'll have to go into tomorrow night, though. This is for Amy, Richard, David, or possibly Daniel. I think I'll go with David, though. Handwriting is a little uncertain. Lancaster Youth, CND, Julie, Chris, Phil, Sally, Higgy, Rob, and the Silly Parkers. And it's Billy Bragg, To Have and To Have Not. Hold on, yes, there we go.
Up in the morning and out to school. Mother says there'll be no work next year. Qualifications was the golden rule, and now just pieces of paper. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards. If you look the part, you'll get the job. In last year's trousers and your old school shoes. The truth is, son, it's a buyer's market. They can afford to pick and choose. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because I dress like this doesn't mean I'm a communist. The factories are closing and the army's full. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've come to see in the land of the free there's only a future for the chosen few. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards. At 21 you're on top of the scrap heap. At 16 you were top of your class. All they taught you at school was how to be a good worker. The system has failed, you don't fail yourself. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards.
That's Billy Bragg from his recently reissued LP, or made available through a different outlet. And the LP, as Kid always tells you, is called Life's a Riot with Spy versus Spy, and it's now marketed by Go Discs. Is that right? Yes, that's not the original. I have the original one, of course, it was marketed by somebody else. A bit of a collector's item, goodness me. From the Twinsets, and this is the first from them. It's called Girl on Her Own.
When I first met you, I knew it was right. So tall, dark, and handsome, a beautiful sight. To me it seemed perfect, you know what I mean. So cold till I met you, you walked out of a dream. But True love is gone. My heart is broken, and I'm all alone. I'm just a girl on my own. I'm just a girl on my own. I'm just a girl on my own. I'm just a
And that's the first from the Twinsets, Girl on Her Own, the title of it. And I rather sabotaged my efforts, actually, this afternoon by because there are quite a few records which I hadn't had a chance to listen to, and I dropped an LP on top of my stylus, thereby doing it irreparable harm. And out where I live, it's not the sort of place where you can just, go out and get another one immediately. It's kind of flying doctor country, and I'll probably be able to get one before the end of the week, but not until then. And the last record that I had the chance to listen to before, in fact, it wasn't this record that I dropped onto it was the next one, if you see what I mean, but the last one that I played before the stylus was destroyed was an LP by the happily named Nocturnal Emissions, and here's something from it, Too Many Wounds.
All we're trying to do is to preserve the peace, and with it our own freedom. Peace and freedom together are indivisible goals.
First of all, we have the blast. This is the sound shockwave.
do wish they hadn't done that. That's from an LP called Viral Shedding, which sounds like a breakfast cereal, actually, but I'm not sure what it means at all. But I don't doubt that lots of you do. And I note amongst the dedications the name of Bette Lynch as well, so that's quite encouraging to see. Nocturnal Emissions, the band, and that's on Illuminated Records, and the band seemed quite keen that you should write to them, so I'll give you the address in case you haven't got enough money to buy the LP after this next. And this is a bit embarrassing, really, because somebody came up to me twice in the course of the event in Lancaster and asked me to play something very specific, and I honestly can't remember what it was at all. And all I can remember was that the person who made the request was wearing what I always imagine is a halter top, although I'm not sufficiently versed in what clothes are to know exactly what a halter top is, but it looked like a grey halter top. And if the requester is listening, if she gets in touch with me, all right, and tells me what it was that she wanted to hear, I'll try and do it, but I've actually forgotten, I'm ashamed to have to say. From Massive Horns, this is Cool and Deadly. Well, that comes from Fashion Records, Massive Horns, and Cool and Deadly, the title of it. The address for Nocturnal Emissions, should you want to write to them, is 90 Lilford Road, London, SE5. That's Ilford with an L in front of it. 90 Lilford Road, London, SE5. I'm sure they'll be delighted to hear from you. This is for Andrew B. at Sheffield Poly, from Paul at Lancaster, and last time I was there apparently I failed to read out a dedication or a request from him. for which I apologise. And it's also for a bunch of people who wanted something quite different, but a record which bores me so much I couldn't bear to listen to it, so I'll have to make do with this instead. Rock Dictator. Which people call me that on the continent, amazing though it may seem. Anyway, this is for Orla, Kay, Joy, Karen, Owls, Jeff, Seamus, Julia, Iola, Paul, and Angie from Grisdale College at the University of Lancaster. From Shiny to Shiny on Red Flame Records, 12-inch of Waiting for Us. Very taxi. Shiny Too Shiny, and that's on Red Flame Records. 12-inch waiting for us. Not sure if there's a 7-inch of that or not. If there is, I certainly haven't seen one. Anyway, our guest on tomorrow night's programme, sessions come from Mark Riley. First we've had from him, and a repeat of our recent one from Black Roots. But tonight we've got Dead Can Dance on the programme, and the lineup of Dead Can Dance is Brendan Perry, vocals, percussion and guitar, Lisa Gerrard, vocals, James Pinker, percussion, who had second thoughts about giving himself a silly name, I see from the running order in front of me, Scott Roger on bass, and Peter Ulrich on drums. Dead Can Dance, and this is called Labour of Love. Not a lot of evidence of the vocals of Lisa Gerrard on that, but, well, I mean, reason tells me that's the case. Anyway, that's Dead Can Dance and Labour of Love, and according to the sheet which comes along with the tapes of the session, it says, based in London since June 1982, Dead Can Dance still continues to act as a catalyst for its members' creative instincts. An album has been recorded and is due for release in January of 1984 on 4AD Records. So, and more from them later in the programme, of course. This is for, hold on a second, what was I going to say? Yeah, this is, you should think it's only students who have silly names, but in Morecambe the Scooter Boys seem to go in for them as well, because this is for Irv, Al, Tiz, Grogan, Cressy, Skelly, Tomo, Flick, Gaz, Gez, Tinker, Mackie, Crowy, and all the Scooter Boys in Morecambe, except the 50s, it says. I'm not quite sure what that means, but doubt us in Morecambe. They'll be producing chortles of pleasure from Stiff Little Fingers.
I could be a soldier, go out there and fight to save this land. Be a people soldier, paramilitary gun in hand. I won't be a soldier, I won't take no orders from no one. Stop that fucking armies, killing isn't my idea of fun. And they wanna waste my life, they wanna waste
And I expect there's a 12-inch version of that which goes on for hours and hours and hours. That's Grand Mixer D Street, which is not just a name but an address as well, I suppose. And it was he who contributed the scratching to Herbie Hancock's Rocket, as I'm sure you recall. And I actually missed, because the Laird had a piece about scratching on his programme earlier this evening, which I unfortunately missed because I was sitting in here getting my own act together. Before that, Stiff Little Fingers, of course, and Wasted Life. And we've got some winners for our exciting 10,000 Maniacs competition. In fact, we've got 4 winners. I was only going to give 3 away, but I've forgotten which 3 they were out of 4, so it seemed a bit unfair just to throw one of them away in a rather discriminatory manner. So I shall have to get hold of another copy of the LP and distribute 4 of them. And I'll give you the names of the winners. You probably don't remember the competition or care. Probably didn't enter it. Very few people did. That's the kind of reaction you get these days. But the winners' names will be announced after this, which is another from the Twinsets, Too Much. Those are the Twinsets, and that's Too Much. Now the winners of the 10,000 Maniacs LPs. The question was, who's the bullfighter whose death was, hymned? I'm not quite sure what the right word is, really. I said celebrated last time, and that was quite clearly wrong. Anyway, the man whose death was mentioned in the course of one of the songs on the LP. In fact, it's part of the title, and the answer was Manolete, and several people wrote in to correct my pronunciation of this, and they didn't win. It's the kind of person that I am. So one of the winners was Nick Gibbard of Norfolk Road, Falmouth in Cornwall, and another one, Eugene Ryder, a name which sounds familiar, I must admit, from London SW2. And he says, when's the next Craig Charles session due? I must admit, I never thought of doing another one. I mean, not because the first one wasn't excellent, because nobody sort of said, hey, how about another Craig Charles session? So I'll look into that, Eugene. You also get your LP. And here's one from... well, actually, this is most impressive. I don't know if he's made this up or not, but he spells Manolete right, which a lot of people didn't. And he also knows the name of the bull, which seems just, I think, it's possible, I suppose. I mean, it must have been a fairly historic occasion. The bull, according to R. Greenwood of Brighton Oldham, was called Islero, and he's one of the winners. And then the fourth winner out of 3 is Richard Cole of, it looks like Clohonga, which seems a little unlikely, but anyway, Clohonga, Hereford. And all of these people will be, probably not for several months if we work at our usual pace, receiving copies of the first and only LP from 10,000 Maniacs. Let's move on, I think. This is another one of those requests, actually. I've forgotten the name of the requester. Once again, I have to apologise. It may have been Julie, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not quite sure. From the birthday party, this is Swampland. They always had a way with a melody, those boys. From the EP Mutiny on Mute Records, that's The Birthday Party, and Swampland. And Rick wanted me to play a record for his sister Lisa. He said she's an avid and dedicated listener, and over the years I've learned that when people say that, it's usually somebody who'd rather have her spine removed without an anaesthetic than actually listen to the programme, but perhaps it is true. Dennis Brown and Your Love is a Blessing.
To be loved like you, woman. blessing, yeah. You're the rose of my garden, my carnation, the lily of the valley. Whoa, but you know this, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's Dennis Brown, and I took delivery of an enormous pile of prees earlier this evening too, so I should be sorting those out and whacking them over the net at you during the rest of the week. That's on Yvonne's special, and I'm about to sneeze. I've got a nasty feeling. Your love is a blessing. And this is from Cy and Pat to Alan, Joe, Linda, Mark, Leslie and Michelle. Where will it be tomorrow in the charts? We'll all find out together, I don't doubt. The Smiths. Number 30 this week, and where will it be? I mean, no, number 30 last week, if you see what I mean, but I mean 30 now. Where will it be tomorrow? Find out. Listen. Oh, you know what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go through it all. Those are the Smiths on Rough Trade Records and the extended version of This Charming Man. And this is Fear Amongst Friends. That's the name of the ensemble. And I Was You. Hey?
If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. 18 years old, a mind of her own, but I still tell her what to do. Take no outsiders, leave no clues. Take no outsiders, leave no clues. Never had a code, she's thoughts of her own. I'm obliged to dominate you. Take no outsiders, leave no clues. Take no outsiders, leave no clues. Yeah, free to do as you please. But if I approve, that will be best. It will do you good, you should rest. Stay inside for a while. I don't know why you must like rusty roads. Haven't you been told? To your room, it will be over soon. And we can start again if I was you. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you, I'd think a man understand if you were me. If I was you.
Oh, no. That ended just as I was blowing my nose. How unpleasant. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, dear, it's real radio. Fear Amongst Friends, that was, and their debut single. They come from Bromyard in Herefordshire, according to the letter which accompanied it, and that was called I Was You. And one of the festive 50 cards which has arrived, and they've been coming in at a fair old pace over the weekend, is just addressed simply to the bloated, bald, bearded one, BBC Radio 1, and it came straight to me. Isn't that typical? I suppose it could hardly be anybody else, really. And that comes from Bury St Edmunds, actually, no great distance from where I live. Perhaps we'll get together some members of the Peel Foundation and go around and teach Bert a lesson. Actually, he hasn't put his address very sensibly. Anyway, let's... Oh, yes, if you're going to send in your festive 50 entries, you've only got about another week to do it, really, because if I let it go on into December, it means we don't have enough time left to actually put the chart together. So just to the end of this week to send in your favourite 3 tracks of 1983, no reissues, be they singles, LP tracks or tracks from sessions. A lot of session tracks seem to be getting into it, actually, at the moment. and you have to send it on the back of an envelope or a postcard, preferably, not with a letter, because quite often you get a long letter and things, you don't actually notice the festive 50 bit in it, and they tend to get thrown away or answered and ignored, you know what I mean? So send it John Peel, BBC Radio 1, London W1A, 4WW. And this is the next from the Twinsets. It's called Glittering New Day, and I shall go back to blowing my nose.
Glittering new day, can't keep from smiling. Seeing you today, sun can't stop shining. Engagements are mainly for keeping dreams living, surviving and living. Come on and do the thing you're really good at. Come on and do the thing you're really good at. Come on and do the thing you're really good at. I know you've got time for some more.
They haven't. Oh, sorry, dear, oh dear. Those are the Twinsets and Glittering New Day, the title of that one. And this next is by the Elgins, Heaven Must Have Sent You. And after the gig in Lancaster, I went off with a fellow called Steve Middlesbrough, who I've mentioned before, actually, a local DJ, very successful youth he is too, and went with him and his wife Sue to a club there called Brooks. Now, I'm not the kind of bloke who normally goes into clubs because, and this is going to sound like, oh, come on, he's just saying that, but I'm one of these people who only has like one pair of trousers at a time, you know, because I've only got one set of legs, and so I've never really seen the point in having lots of them, and I just like wear jeans, you know, and it's one of those places where normally they don't let you in jeans, but they let me in on this occasion, and I was grateful for that, and didn't have to spend very long there because it was coming towards the end of the evening and people were drifting off home, but a lot of amusing folk in there, it must be said. So this is for Wendy Bonnick and Mandy Curra, who wanted this particularly. It's also for all the lads in Rainford from the Soley of Lancaster, the Elgins. Oh, yes. I bet they've given up waiting for that. Those are the Elgins, and Heaven Must Have Sent You, and a postcard from the Tempest to say that they're supporting Strawberry Switchblade at Kingston Polytechnic on December the 1st, which I make this Thursday, and that they've got a single coming out on Anagram Records called Montezuma on December the 9th. And in fact, when I when I did one of my things at Kingston Polytechnic, the Tempests were supporting that as well. How come they got rebooked so quickly and I didn't? I don't know. Sisters of Mercy, and somebody wanted me to play this for them as well. This is for Dougie, and it's Alice.
Against the wall so she can see the door. In case the laughing strangers go and crush the petals on the floor. Alice in her party dress, she thanks you kindly. So serene she needs you like she needs her trance to tell her that the world is clean. To promise her a definition, tell her where the rain will fall, tell her where the sun shines bright, and tell her she can have it all today. Spread the tarot, in illusion comfort lies. The safest way, the straight and narrow, no confusion, no surprise. Alice in her party dress, to kill she thanks you, turns away. Needs you like she needs her pills to tell her that the world's okay. To promise her a definition, tell her where the rain will fall, tell her where the sun shines bright, and tell her she can have it all today.
Sisters of Mercy, and that was Alice, of course, and another from Dead Can Dance. This one's called Ocean. Well, that one gets a thumbs up from our man on the terraces with the runny nose and the bottle of Beaujolais Nouveau. Dead Can Dance, and that's called Ocean. And for older listeners, the voice there reminds me somewhat of Buffy St. Marie, if you can recall her. This is Laurel and Hardy from their LP on Upright Records, Video Trafficking.
All of the telecom transmission team.
Oh, no, come on. I was doing so well. It's most irritating when that happens. People think I do that to be funny, you know, so in some way it's not funny.
Are trying to eliminate the pirate field. Police come to your house supposed to aid and say it's your blueprint that come to confiscate. Hey, 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 Lord, Lord, hey, 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 Lord, boy, Lord, boy. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? In America they thought they anti-security, so when they released Superman 3, 2 hours later be me friend a green tea. Right by America, me don't Oxford Street. Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? The pirates are your films and them duplicating. And then them sell it dirt cheap to make one profit. Me in and smuggle films both new and old. The government said the system is out of control. Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? Hey, 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 Lord, boy, Lord, boy, hey, 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 Lord, boy, Lord, boy. Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? Old master, I feel irate, cause him no have no left fitting color TV. Him no realize that the detector ban them a come to eradicate the unlicensed one. Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? All of the telecatchers mission team. Well, them a try to eliminate the pirate scheme. Police come on your yard at a quarter to 8. And say, you blueprint because it's your name. Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? Video, this a video trafficking. Video, this a video trafficking, because a man we're waiting. Who are the pirates duplicating? Hey, 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 Lord, what, Lord, what, hey, 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 hey,
Whitehead on trombone there. That's my favourite track, I think, from the LP What a Bargain on Upright Records, and that one's called Video Trafficking. Now to the Twinsets again. This is a Bell Bell composition, Crush.
Baby, what you do to me, I can say clearly, don't you see? Come and love and harmony, we can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things we do, stop, baby. Baby, what you do to me, I can say clearly, don't you see? Come and love and harmony, we can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things we do, stop, baby. Well, this thing is killing me. I'm excited as I can be. Come on, baby, help me. Stop, go. Come on, baby, let's get straight. I love you so it's not too late. Don't I love and don't you hate? We can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things we do, stop, baby. Love and honey is the plan. I'll do the best for you. I can if you just be my loving man. We can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things you do, stop, baby. Why can't love run through? You know I can't stop crying over you. Why can't love run through? You know I can't stop crying over you. Love my love and here's the plan. I'll do the best for you. I can if you just be my loving man. We can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things we do, stop, baby. Baby, what you do to me, I can say clearly, don't you see? Come and love and harmony. We can do it, you and me. Don't know if my love for you is strong enough to see me through. Gotta stop the things we do, stop, baby.
Excellent, I think. Those are the Twinsets. Two good sessions tonight, actually, and that's called Crush. And this is for Neil from Julia, Helen and Jim. And this is Ein Sturzender Neubauten. And somebody told me that my pronunciation of this is improving every time I do it. Einsturzende Neubauten. Sorry, lads. That's on Some Bizarre Records. And Vanadium I Ching, the title of it. And this weekend I shall be in the city which gave them their name, in fact, Berlin, to report to you on the Atonal Festival there from Friday, Saturday and Sunday. At my own expense, let me hasten to add. If only Duran were there, eh? This is T-Bone Burnett with Pete Townsend and Fatally Beautiful.
She was born in the back of a 34 Ford and raised in a foster home. Her guardian made sexual connection with her before she was even grown. When she was 15, she fell in love with a boy who had a fast car. But she was timid and withdrawn, so she worshipped him from afar. But he couldn't help but notice her. She was fatally beautiful. Ever since she was a girl, she was fatally beautiful. She ran away to the city the next year, disowned out of jealousy. She frightened men with a figure, so they treated her like a sleaze. She lived across the street from a piss factory, as dark as the sun is bright. The kind where you think you just went blind when you walk in from the daylight. Still they couldn't help but notice her. She was fatally beautiful. Ever since she was a girl, she was fatally discovered by a man 3 times her age who worked for a studio. And he bought her dresses and perfume and moved her to his home. He got her a part in a comedy where she played a dumb blonde whore. She posed without clothes for a magazine, and the offers came in by the score. In a restaurant in Brussels, she pulls back her hair, picks up a candle and lights a cigarette. She's recognized by a tourist who can't see her face but knows her silhouette. He imagines her robe as it drops to the floor. He imagines her skin soft to touch. He imagines her naked on silk sheets. That morning she never woke up. 'Cause we couldn't help but notice her. She was fatally beautiful. Ever since she was a girl, she was fatally beautiful. We couldn't help but notice her. She was fatally beautiful. Ever since she was a girl, she was fatally beautiful.
It's T-Bone Burnett from an LP called Proof Through the Night. Fatally Beautiful, the title of it, with Pete Townsend strumming away on the guitar. Dead Can Dance, the last from them tonight. It's called Threshold. Another absorbing new band for you, we like to think. That's Dead Can Dance, the last from them, Threshold, the name of it. And to end tonight's programme, I can't remember whether I've played you this before or not, actually. From Designer, this is on Trin Disc, it's called Feeling Nice. Not a bad idea.
An adjudicator from England made a very serious prediction. Said the world could end up in trouble if the music industry crumbled. They must resort to soca, boy, for things to stay in order. So I'm so happy. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. I'm feeling nice now. The world will see the day, not far from today. My music will play all day. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. He said, check the music they're jamming. It's the same old thing they're repeating on the radio and in the disco. And they have the soca and go slow. But before they could wing their eyes, Lord, soca will hit them by surprise. Boy, I'm so happy, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. How we say? I'm feeling nice now. The world will see the day, not far from today. My music will play all day, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. Work it up. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. It's a new musical explosion for the upcoming generation. Soca music is music future, where the words he quoting is lecture. They will witness in time to come. Lord, soca rated as #1. Boy, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. Nice, nice. Oh, I'm feeling nice now. The world will see the day, not far from today. My music will play all day, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling nice now.
feeling nice now. I think last time I played that I made some rather pathetic remark about German pocket battleships, so I won't do it again. That's on Trin-Disc Records, and it was given to me by Charlie Gillett, to whom thanks, designer. Tomorrow night sessions from Mark Riley and Black Roots, and tonight it's Be Dead Can Dance and the Twinsets, and that's pretty much it for tonight's programme, I think. This is going to take us right up to the pips, unless I'm much mistaken. Coming up now, the Midnight News Summary.